Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to deal with quadratic equations, quadratic formula, and solving using the K method substitution. Okay, so in the following equations, we are going to have a solve for x. So we have x squared. We have x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0 as given in this equation. Okay, so now you are required to factorize this equation, and in the process you will be solving for x. So now, because of the highest exponent of x is squared, and because this type of an equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, we call this a quadratic equation. We call this a quadratic equation. All right, so because of that, we are going to factorize it by opening the two brackets and equating it to 0. Now we don't have any coefficient in front of x squared, then I'm going to place two x's there. So now the next step, what do? We are going to look for factors of 6 that we can add together. They give us minus 5. Okay, now if I have minus 6 times minus 1, what will I get? If I multiply them together, I get positive 6. But if I add them together, I'll get minus 7. So meaning that this doesn't work for me. Okay, now if I can have minus 2 times minus 3, I will get positive 6. But if I can have minus 2 plus minus 3, I will get minus 5. So this works for me. So that means I'm going to have minus 2 minus 3. Then x minus 2 will be equals to 0, or x minus 3 will be equals to 0. Then x is equals to 2, or x is equals to 3. Okay, but now let's say you were not able to find these factors all by yourself. All right, there is another method that they can allow you to use, and it is called a quadratic formula. Okay, now let us look at this. Now quadratic formula goes by saying that the value of x will be equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2 times the value of a. And we call this a quadratic formula. We call this a quadratic formula. Now, this is a formula. What you only need to do is to recognize that looking at the above equation, looking at this one given to us and the standard one, what is the value of a? All right, So now we are going to substitute. What is the value of A? What is the value of B? What is the value of C? Now we have, according to the formula, minus here, then B, we open brackets, then we go to this part here, then we look for B. So B is this number here. All right, if you can look here, B is the coefficient of X. So this is X, that is B. So we substitute what? We substitute minus 5. We substitute minus 5. Then we have plus or minus the square root of B squared. So we already know the value of B because we have substituted it here. So which is minus 5 squared. Can you see that my B is inside the brackets? I don't make a mistake. Then minus, this minus that I'm writing, it's part of the equation here. Okay. Minus what? Minus the value of A. So the value of A is here, the coefficient of X squared. Can you see even here? The value of A is a coefficient of X squared. So in this regard, it will be 1 multiplied, sorry, I forgot a 4. Okay, let's erase. That's the beauty of technology. Minus 4, the value of A. Now the value of A is 1 multiplied by the value of C. Now the value of C is the last number which doesn't have any X. We go to that equation, we find that okay, 6 is the last number and doesn't have any X. Then we substitute the 6 divided by, what do you divide by? 2 times the value of A. 2 times the value of A. Then 2, the value of A is 1. Then we substitute 1. Then from there, you punch it on your calculator. Okay, when you punch it on a calculator, I want you to take a look on at something. Here, you have 2 signs. Can you see that here? You can only substitute 1 sign at a time. So because of the positive is at the top, I will start with the positive. So I will say minus into minus 5 plus the square root of minus 5 squared minus 4, 1, okay, 6 over 2 times 1. So I get that my value of X is equals to 3. Remember, the value that we are going to get here gives us the value of X. Or X will be equals to, then I wrap the positive and I substitute with the negative. Then I get the value of 2. So can you see that this answer, they are similar to the answers that we got using the traditional way of factorizing? Okay, so a quadratic formula, or the quadratic formula, yes, it is a way of solving a quadratic equation if you are unable to factorize. If you can see that here I'm having problems with factorizing, then you use the quadratic formula and it's going to give you your answers. Now let me show you a trick. You can reverse engineer this method using a quadratic formula. So what you can do here, you can simply take 3 to the next side. So you are going to have x minus 3 equals to 0, or you can take 2 to the other side, then you have x minus 2 equals to 0. Can you see the relationship with this one and that one? Therefore, you can write it as x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 2 equals to 0. Can you see here? So instead of you wasting time in an exam, what you can do is that you can use a quadratic formula and work in reverse to be as if you have factorized it manually. But don't tell your teacher that I said so, okay? Now, let's try another one. Okay, add the page. Alright, yes. Alright. So all the activities that you do on the you are seeing on the screen, please try them and see if they will work for you, right? So now number 2 looks similar to number 1. I'm not going to do it. Now, if you can look at number 3, it has a number here, right? So I'm going to do number 3. You are going to do number 5. And I'm also going to show you number 4. Now let us look at number 3, where we have 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. So we have 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, let me verify if I copied the right one. Yes. Now we need to factorize this, okay? So firstly, I'll start by opening the 2 brackets, then equate them to 0, right? Now, because of the nature of this will have to be 2x, then this will have to be the x. Okay, now this will be quite unique. We need the factors of 3, alright? The last numbers must give us a 3. Now the problem is that, will the 3 go with the 2 or will it go with the x? Alright? Now, here we use trial and error. Okay? So, now, looking at the middle term here, we need a bigger number, right? So, since we need a bigger number, I will put negative 3 this side so that I can be able to multiply it with the 2. Then I will also put negative 1 here. Okay? So, now, after doing that, I am verifying. So I will multiply them back. Okay, so 2 times x, 2x squared. 2x times x will be 2x squared. 2x times negative 3, it is negative 6x. Minus 1 times x, it is minus x. Then minus 1 times minus 3, it will be plus 3. So now we have 2x squared, these are like terms, minus 7x plus 3. So if the answer you got here, it is similar to that, then you may continue. Okay, so since I can see that they are similar, I will indeed continue. Then I will then say 2x minus 1 equals to 0, or x minus 3 equals to 0. Therefore, 2x is equals to 1, or x is equals to 3. That side I'm done. Here I will need to go a step further. X is equals to 1 over 2. Alright. You can still use a quadratic equation. Remember, quadratic equation says x is equals to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c divided by 2a. Okay, let us substitute to our quadratic formula. So the value of x will be equals to minus the value of b. So we go to that equation and then we check. Okay, this is my a, this is my b, this is my c. So all the numbers, they go with a sign before them. Okay, now my b, it's minus 7, then plus or minus. Remember, you substitute one sign first. The square root, of what? B squared. So you put brackets, minus b squared minus 4 into a. The value of a we found to be 2 multiplied by c, which was 3, divided by the value of 2 times a. So 2 times 2. Alright. Now we press everything on a calculator. So after pressing everything on a calculator, you must get these values. So let me press the calculator with you. Minus into minus 7. Okay, minus into minus 7. Plus the square root of minus 7 squared minus 4 into 2 into 3. So I got the value of 3 here when I use a positive, and then when I use a negative, I will get the value of a half. So can you see the relationship, guys? Okay. Let me do the other one. Now I'm going to do number 4. So number 4, we simply have x squared minus 9. We simply have x squared minus 9 equals to 0. Now everything we've done before, our equations, was in the form of a trinomial, meaning that it contained 3 terms. Now this time around we have a binomial. Okay, this time around we have a binomial. Now when you have an equation like this, that doesn't mean that the value of b, x, is not there. So remember, a quadratic in its standard nature must be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, now what we did here, we just have a is equals to 1 x squared, then we have 0x minus 9 equals to 0. So it is there, it is just a 0. Okay, now looking at this side, what you see on your screen, we call it a difference of two squares. Why? Because x is a squared number, 9 it is also a squared number. So this can be written as x squared minus 3 squared equals to 0. So now you can clearly see that this is a difference. Difference means subtraction. So difference of two squares. Now, if you have a difference of two squares, you okay. So then what we do, therefore, x minus 3 will be equals to 0, or x plus 3 will be equals to 0. Therefore, x will be equals to positive 3, or x will be equals to minus 3. Alright, and these are your answers. But how are you going to deal with this? You don't have a b in a quadratic formula. Let's find out. So a quadratic formula states that the value of x is equals to minus b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Therefore, the value of x, let me take it down a little bit. Therefore, the value of x will be equals to minus the value of b, I said it's 0, so it's 0 plus or minus the square root of your 0 squared minus 4 into a. A is 1, c is minus 9, divided by 2 times the value of a. So you simply press this on a calculator. So this will simplify to only plus or minus the root of 4 times 9. Right, divided by 2. Then if you simplify this, you will indeed get 3 or minus 3. Okay guys, this is everything that you needed to know when it comes to a quadratic formula and factorizing using the standard method. Now let us check how can we use the K method. The K method, we only use it when they want you to factorize and you really don't know how to factorize. Okay, now number 1, we have x squared squared minus 5x squared plus 6. Now if this is the same as that with a little bit of spice. So let me show you the spice because it's my job to show you the spice. Okay, So now we have x squared okay, minus 5x squared plus 6 equals to 0. So one of you will be tempted to make this to the exponent of 4. No. We don't do that here. Okay? So what you do here, you are simplifying your equation. You will say you let x squared b equals 2k. This statement means everywhere you see x squared, we are going to substitute to the value of k. So if I am to do that, we are going to have k squared minus 5k plus 6 equals to 0. Can we factorize this? Oh, definitely. So we will open our two brackets. Then this equals to 0. Then we'll have a k and a k. Factors of 6, that will give me minus 5. We determined them before. It will be minus 3 and minus 2. So therefore k equals to 3 or k equals to 2. Now we are not looking for k, we are looking for x squared. So we now substitute back x squared in the place of k. So then this x squared is equals to 3 or x squared equals to 2. So the root of x, so x will be equals to plus or minus the square root of 3, or x, when you put the square root there, you must also put the square root at the other side. So plus or minus the square root of 2. And that is your answer, guys. Okay? Now let us look at the other one. So that one, it is a similar to number 2. Now let us look at number 3. I'm gonna solve number 3. So on number 3, we have x minus 1 squared so we have x minus 1 squared minus 3 into x minus 1. I think here we have minus 4 equals to 0. Yes. Now, for you to be able to solve this, obviously you need to simplify the brackets so that you can factorize. So you let k b equals to x minus 1. So everywhere you see an x minus 1, you substitute with k. So k squared minus 3k minus 4 equals to 0. Can you factorize? Yes. Now you open the brackets. So we are going to have k. We are going to have k. Now factors of 4, negative 4, that will, if I add them together, must give me minus 3. So if I take a minus 4 times positive 1, I will get minus 4. But if I add them together, I will get minus 3. So I'm going to make use of minus 4 and a plus 1. So therefore k is equals to 4, or k is equals to minus 1. Then I substitute back. So x minus 1 is equals to 4, or x minus 1 is equals to minus 1. Now I transpose that. X is equals to 5, or x is equals to, when this becomes positive, it will be a 0. Okay, so that is our answer. Now I believe you now understand the concept of letting a number be equals to k. So the ones that I didn't do them as your homework. Okay, remember, if you want to practice, feel free to pause the video and do your question and pause it, allow me to solve it and see where you have made mistakes. If you got it right, kudos to you. Okay, now we can also solve by completing a square. Now when it comes to factorization, this is the only nightmare that you should be having, but it's not that bad. Okay, now when we say completing a square, now let's say we have x squared plus 6x plus 5. Take note, guys. We are trying, at least not always, but we are trying to make sure that there and there you have similar questions. So x squared plus 6x plus 5. So this is what we have. Now, can you factorize this? Let's see. So if we open two brackets, equals to 0, and we put an x here, an x, and we look for factors of 5. So 5 times 1 is still equals to 5. So you can simply put plus 5 plus 1, because if you say 5 plus 1, they will still give you a 6, right? So if you multiply this, will give you x squared, will give you 1x, 5x, add them together, 6x, is that one. So this looks like it's correct. Then you get your x values as x is equals to, this is not completing a square, by the way. I'm doing the previous method. Then we'll get x is equals to minus 5, or x is equals to minus 1, right? But now, what does completing a square want from us? Now, we will say, let me write it in blue so that you can differentiate them. So x squared plus 6x, look at this, I moved 5 to the other side, right? That is step number 1. Step number 2, you add what? You add half of the middle term, so 6 over 2, then you square it. Even this side we add 6 over 2, then we square it. Okay, so what will be this thing now? Now here we are going to get, if I were to factorize this, I'm going to get x squared, right? Sorry, made a mistake. So if I were to factorize this, I am to get this. So I'm supposed to get x plus 6 over 2 squared, right, which is equals to, now whatever that's that side, you need to press it on a calculator. So we are going to have a minus 5 plus 6 over 2 squared. I got a 4. Okay. So now remember, a 4 is also a squared number, right? So if I can square root both sides, I'm going to get x, right? I'm going to get x. 6 over 2, it is 3, guys, plus 3 equals 2. The square root of 4 is 2, right? But this 2, since I took a square root, must be a plus or a minus, right? So when I transpose that, I will either have x is equals to minus 3 plus 2, or I'll either have x is equals to minus 3 minus 2. Now, where there's a plus 2, I'm going to get negative 1. Then here, I'm going to get a negative 5. Now, if you look closely, it is very similar to the answers we got here. So, completing a square, it is just another method that they want you to know, but the results are the same. Okay? So, now I'm just going to give you a moment to practice. Then if you really do not understand, reach out so that we can have a lesson about this. It is far much better for me to explain to you face to face. Then I think now you can improve your understanding. Please guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Let the channel grow. Let us help others together. Okay? Thanks. Bye.